Hey there guys, so today we have another review and this is a beer from Founders. This is Frootwood. So this is a new beer from them. It's part of their barrel aged series that they're going to do more of. And in January we have Frootwood, which is a cherry ale. They throw it in third use barrels. So these barrels carried bourbon, then maple syrup, then Frootwood. And the beer is now an 8% beer. So let's dig in. The beer comes with beautiful clarity, as you can hopefully see. And it has a rosy, ruby kind of color to it. Let's get the aroma on this one. It smells very sweet. It definitely smells like there's like some syrup or obviously maple syrup in there. But it also has this kind of cherry flavor that reminds you of something like a cough syrup, grilled on a pan, and then you just made that reduction and threw that into the beer. It smells fantastic. Cheers. All right. Yeah, I mean, it's an 8% barrel-aged beer, a barrel-aged fruit beer, but there is certainly an attack of maple syrup that hits up front on the nose. Sort of got that sweetness, but on the palate, it certainly hits that kind of, IHOP cherry. Actually, it's been a minute since I've been to IHOP, so if they have a cherry IHOP maple syrup, certainly has that kind of flavor. Otherwise, think of Luden's cough drops. Think of something like a little bit of spice on there, like some mint quality. So this kind of Ricola with cherry in it, which is pretty interesting. But yeah, there's a balance of candied sweetness of the cherry flavor. I think maraschino versus something like a Bing cherry or anything like that. And then there's also this kind of sweetness of maple driving through on the palate. The palate, it sits pretty light. Medium to medium minus on the palate for an 8% barrel-aged imperial stout. Yeah. And then you certainly get an attack of some alcohol, which is surprising. I'm curious if it's just the beer showing itself, warming its way down, or maybe there's a nice pop of alcohol from the bourbon flavor. Dries out pretty nicely, but there is still a little bit of cherry flavor on the back end. It's interesting. It's not bad. For me, this does very few specific things. One of them it does is that it's a digestif that you would have with dessert or just finish a meal with. It's nice and sweet. It reminds me of a dessert wine or something like a dessert liqueur. It's not something you want to drink much of. And definitely fits that kind of like, desserty kind of feel. The other one I want to do with this beer, possibly, is to throw it with some bourbon barrel-aged imperial stouts. Some imperial stouts. It has a wonderful sweetness to it. It sort of lightens on the palate because it's only 8%. And it has a really nice kind of like candied kind of cherry flavor. So that would match quite well with a bourbon barrel-aged imperial stout or imperial stout. I think like these flavors to balance them out, to cut the roast. You sort of get the light tart quality, but really the sweetness to cut through the cherry sweetness to cut through that imperial stout, and then you get a little bit of spice quality to cut that as well. And I think you're just offering something a little bit more light and bouncy to cut from this chewy beer. I think that's where this beer does. As a drinking beer, I would not recommend it. As for a rating, 83 out of 100. 83. So there you go. That is Founders Frootwood. Let me know what you think. Until next time, guys. Cheers.